Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Fun Size, and here we are with the 8th anniversary. We're gonna be going against most likely the Boo Boys. Actually, yeah, we're going against the Boo Boys. I don't even know why I said most likely. We are going against the Boo Boys because they're part of the 8th anniversary, and we're gonna be doing the same thing that we did with the last anniversary. We're just gonna be combining it all into one. So, without further ado, let's jump in, boys. All right, here we are in the fight. Here we go. So, the thing is, right, you might have noticed it said that this was the team that cleared it last. Well, as far as me recording this and everything, we are simply doing what's in order, right? That's all it is. Now, if I cleared this already, yes, this is technically the second run, but as far as reporting goes, this is the first one, right? So don't think about it too hard. Honestly, we're just doing this now, okay? So don't worry about it, all right? Don't worry about it. But honestly, our lineup here is not too bad, actually, because now we can throw off Gogeta. Gogeta comes out as soon as possible. Since this is a pretty short fight, I don't anticipate this being too long, given the fact that, you know, the 8th anniversary really wasn't that difficult at the time, so I don't expect it to be very difficult now, right? Because they basically don't even really fight back. They just kind of stand there and hope that Goku is able to just do the spirit bomb, you know what I mean? Like that's all it really is. Oh, also, now that I'm thinking about it, and the anniversary is essentially over, right? Like it's not over, but it's over, right? I'm thinking, now that we've got the 7th year anniversary characters, what do you guys think that they're gonna do for the 8th anniversary characters? I do this every year where we basically talk about the 7th anniversary characters and their impact, or excuse me, not the 7th year, the previous year and or the year that we get as far as what actually EZAs and their overall impact, what has changed about the cards, and what could potentially be done for their predecessors, right? Their next on anniversary, the next one. So essentially, the 7th year anniversary cards are kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie. What they did for those characters and those cards is they essentially revived them, as they do, right? But the thing about this one in particular is that they did them right, dude. Like they did them right, because they still hold true to the characters themselves, right? They still hold true. However, they're just a lot better, and we're hitting numbers and we're seeing things that I never thought, honestly, in my entire career of playing Dokkan, I guess you could call it that. The entire time that I've played this game, these numbers that we're hitting regularly now with some of these units are just like, they're crazy, right? And depending upon how long Dokkan actually continues to go on, we're going to be starting to see characters that are just like let's say 5 years into the future right now, right? Let's say 5 years. If Dokkan is still around and it's been that long, awesome. But the thing is, it's like, we're going to see characters, it's like, oh man, this event is so hard. He's hitting for 10 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's hitting for 10 million. I don't know if I could do it. I've only got 3 million defense, and I've got guard and damage reduction, but I don't know. We're still stacking, but hopefully we can do it. Like, we're gonna get so ridiculous. Like, these numbers, I don't know the extent at which we're gonna be able to just keep going in the direction we're going at the pace that we're going, because it's gonna get silly, you know? Oh, he's only doing 100 mil. Honestly, guys, like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna get to a point where it's like, dude, what are we doing? Like, these numbers are silly. These numbers are so silly now. You know, like, for example, the gods and Gogeta, right? If you give them all their stacks, they get to, like, you know, you stack them until you can't, right? You stack them until you can't, and then go, okay, I'm gonna transform now. And then they go, oh, well, I did, like, between, right, a number that varies between 10, no, I'd say between, like, 12 to 14, maybe 15 stacks, right? Generally, you get about that high sometimes, not all the time. So that's why I said about, you know, I'll even drop it down to 11. we'll get to like 11 to like 15 stacks, right? Which is crazy. 11 to 15 stacks. They're chilling at millions of defense, literally millions, by the way. For those who don't know or that haven't been able to experience this, literally millions of defense, and they're still guarding, they're doing their thing. But it's like, dude, I remember when these cards would stack for several turns and be at like 400k defense, and we were like, whoa. You know what I mean? And then their characters after the fact would be like 700k defense, still not guarding. 700, 800k, you know, and we were like, man, these characters are wild, like they're crazy. And then after the fact, you know, after they faded out a little bit, which is also interesting how on their anniversary they were still able to die, which is crazy when you think about it. They were still able to die on their anniversary, which is crazy. That I don't know if that's actually been heard of up until this point, right? Like characters that could, well, hold on. Maybe. Yeah, actually the 8th anniversary, they could die. 9th anniversary, some of them could die. And now 10th anniversary, the majority of them don't die. Have you noticed that? It's an upward trend. Think about it. Anyway, point being, they were so insane, but so cheeks at the same time. Like they were like things to, there's still things to be desired, right? But then after the fact, after their easy A, now it's like they're kind of ridiculous. Like they keep up with today's content pretty easily. If I'm being honest, like especially turn 1, dude. Turn 1, they are actually legitimate slot 1s, which is crazy because they used to just be, they're technically still slot 2s, right? Technically. But they are so strong in slot 1, their first turn, that they can just sit there and you can get your rotations in order, which is crazy to me. Which is crazy. If you get characters that are not in the slot 1 positions and whatever, you're able to just, oh, yep, don't worry, I'll fix it. Ridiculous. They're actually so stupid. They're so good. They're so good. But anyway, since we are coming to the end of this fight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just jump to the next fight after this, and it's going to be pretty seamless as far as I know, right? As far as editing goes and all that stuff, it should be pretty seamless. So just give me one moment, boys. Let's go ahead and wait for this to clear. Oh, are you serious? Are you serious? Really? Really? Okay. We're going to leave him with a sliver. Quite literally a sliver. Okay. And there it is. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Boom. Here we are. We're in the next fight. You like that? I know you do. Anyway. All right. So we're going against the GT boys, right? Okay. Okay. Let's let the turn play out for a sec, and then we'll go back to talking about the actual anniversary units, because we're going to start talking about potentially, well, the impact of these things, right? So we've seen what they can do. They're insane now. The 7th year anniversaries, right? That anniversary that got upgraded essentially during this anniversary. So the impact of this is quite significant, because not only can they keep up with today's content, but they are solid as far as being a slot 2 all the way up until they transform. And then after they transform, then they can potentially sit slot 1s pretty reliably. Honestly, like, I'm thinking to myself, Gogeta, right? Specifically, like turn 1 Gogeta is not killable. Like, you can't kill him, right? And depending upon in the future how these fights play out, if they play out in a way that's like, okay, we have our slot one. Actually, hold on. Let me get into some other stuff as far as team building goes, right? Team building wise, Gogeta in the future is going to need another slot 1. Right? We need another Goku, or we need another Vegeta, or literally somebody else, a Gogeta even, to sit next to the Super Saiyan 4s while they stack up and do their thing, so that then we can actually keep a slot 1 that is worthy and worth their salt. Because right now, even as it goes, we want Super Saiyan 4 to be good enough, in which case they kind of are, but they're not as good as they could be, right? Because having a legit slot 1 to protect Super Saiyan 4 Goku not only is important, but it's essential, right? So essentially what I'm saying is we need a character, a leader, that is going to encompass all of these grade 8 power characters, all of these Super Saiyan 4 characters, power beyond Super Saiyan, whatever, right? Even if it's just grade 8 power and just Super Saiyan 4 stuff, GT Hero, whatever, right? If it's just that, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But we need another character that was essentially like Int Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I'm not saying he has to be another Int Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but we just need another slot 1 character that is essentially Beast Gohan level or above, right? That's what we need for this team to really shine. And the reason being for that is because Super Saiyan 4 Goku is great, but he's essentially just a support character that is really good at his job. Like, he's like really good at his job, and he's doing a lot of damage, right? Like, that is essentially what Super Saiyan 4 Goku is. He is just a really good ass support. Like, he's very good. In which case, I also hope that in the future of these categories, I hope they don't hold back as far as like how strong that they make Super Saiyan 4 characters, or any of the power beyond Super Saiyan stuff. Like, I'm really hoping that they don't hold back with these characters just because Super Saiyan 4 Goku exists, simply because like they don't want, you know, the slot 1 to be too strong. Dude, first of all, it doesn't matter if the slot 1 is too strong, in my opinion, because look how long Beast Gohan has been able to chill in slot 1 and basically dominate the game all the way up until now. A year plus later, he's still here chilling, which, don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying just because I'm bringing this fact up. What I'm saying behind that is that we love him. That's fine. He's great where he is. And as soon as he's gone, I'm going to be very sad, because Beast Gohan is amazing. We love him. Amazing, right? Amazing. However, we need a character like this for every category, right? We need a slot 1 standalone anchor for all of these teams. And I know that that sounds potentially boring, but think about the structure of the game itself. That's literally what it is. That's how you play the game, you know? Like, if the character can't do that role, then the team is lacking, and it needs that role to be filled. That's just how it goes. Why do you think these other teams are so successful? Because not only do they link well, but then on top of that, we have standalone slot 1s that are just chilling, bro. They don't have to transform to be slot 1 the majority of the time, you know, or at least the ones that are good, right? Like Beast Gohan, he just comes out and does his thing. He just slams his genitals on the table and he's like, yeah, I'm here to stay, at least for like, you know, 3 turns. And then he's like, I might get hurt, you know, like, oh no. But now, you know, with Gogeta and stuff like that, like, yeah, they could transform and all that. But like, even like the Vegito teams and stuff like that, without Beast Gohan or any of these other slot 1s, it is very difficult to actually allow them to do what they do. Specifically in the beginning of the fight, right? Like later on when they transform or they exchange or whatever, like that's fine. That's fine. And that's kind of how that team was designed, or even this team specifically. Like, you got your slot 1s early on, and then they kind of fade out into becoming slot 2s or 3s. And then, you know, you're kind of just chilling either with them as the tanks, and or, you know, you kind of got like a balancing act going on here, and you can kind of play however you want, because that's how the character's designed. However, even now with like Vegito and Gogeta, there's something that I'm seeing as far as like playing some really difficult fights. I foresee that the majority of the time we're not going to be able to offensively stack with these characters, and that's just the reality of it, because the bosses are going to be hitting so hard that it's like you have to prioritize your defense, otherwise you lose, right? And that's basically what happens for all of the red zones that I did. That's what happens for all of the fights, basically, except for the battle hardened formidable foes, because it's so short. That's when you're able to kind of focus just offense and then swap characters or transform or whatever, and then you're fine after that, right? Like, that's basically how the character is designed, which is cool, but I do like seeing numbers that are really, really big, and I love seeing Gogeta and Vegito just kind of throw out numbers because they can. You know, they're just throwing out, oh, 50 million, 60 million, 80 million. Like, it gets silly, bro. It really does. But since we're wrapping up with this fight, we're gonna go ahead and just cut here and then jump into technically part 2 of the 8th anniversary. So 3, 2, 1, boom. Here we are once again. Another successfully seamless transition. Anyway, so I've wasted enough time, I guess you could say, talking about teams and stuff like that. So what does this mean for the 8th anniversary and their potential EZAs? Well, I mean, if you think about it and what they've done in comparison to all these other EZAs of these anniversary units, we'll see how long the 7th anniversary characters are able to stick around. Because the 6th anniversary characters, like for example, UI Goku, I don't want to say that he's dead now, but at the same time, the meta of the bosses has shifted. They are no longer essentially allowing dodge characters to really be a thing, right? They're like, yeah, that UI Goku stuff was cool, but we're not gonna really allow you to just keep milking this character and basically farming W's, because dodge is just too strong sometimes, especially when dodge is allowed. When dodge is allowed and dodge is on the table, the majority of these characters become a lot stronger when you have dodge on them. Just out of nowhere, they just become that guy. They become so much stronger just with that chance to dodge. But we're at a point now where essentially it's tank or die. It's pretty much what it is now. It's tank or die. That's why we've gone in circles with this meta. Essentially, we say, okay, we release some characters that are stackers and whatever, right? They have all the necessary means to essentially just tank whatever the boss does at them, you know, given the right circumstances. And then we go in another circle. That's the other half of that circle is, okay, we are not releasing characters that are strong enough to tank, and we're just gonna give you dodge or die characters for a little while. That's like the meta of the game. It goes in a circle just like that. It's either tank or dodge, tank or dodge. And as of right now, where we land is we are in the tank meta right now. So if a character can't tank, it's garbage. Because again, the majority of the bosses at the time are dodge canceling, and or they're hitting so hard that it's like, dude, what are you supposed to do? You would think dodge, but no, dodge doesn't help either, because it's a dice roll, and you're like, oh, well, if I dodge, we'll be fine. Well, not necessarily, because what about everybody else? You know, what about everybody else? You know? So it's something to consider. So going forward, I feel like these characters, the 7th anniversary characters, are cool. They're great, but we'll see how long they last. I really don't know. I'm hoping they last as long as the 6th anniversary characters did, because they lasted a good while. You know, I mean, if you've noticed, I've used UI Goku for a quite large majority of the fights that I was really struggling in, right? Like, I was just using him. I was like, yep, he goes slot 1, we have no problem because of the guaranteed dodge, and it's just how strong that is. Like, it's so strong. It's dumb. It's actually stupid. And that's why they're like, we don't like that. we don't like a character that does as much damage as he does, and he's able to just do that, right? But we're gonna go ahead and jump to the next fight. I'll see you over there. And boom, here we are. We're going against Gohan now. We're chilling. But yes, as far as like the 8th anniversary goes, I feel like those characters are still going to stay true to themselves, But as far as like what they're going to be doing, I feel like they're going to be doing a lot more damage quicker because those were damage characters, right? I don't know what they're going to do with the Boo Boys, because the Boo Boys were already stacking decently fast, but now I think they're just going to be stacking faster. But because they don't have guard, they don't have damage reduction, they don't have anything but just raw defense warriors out there, I either feel like they're going to do one of two things. I feel like they're going to double down on that, right? And they're going to say, oh, they're just going to be massively raising attack and defense on everything that they do, right? That's 100% defense and attack on everything. If they do it that way, that could be maybe cool. I don't know yet, honestly. I really don't know, given the fact that characters are taking damage with 2.3 million defense with guard. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Granted, that's before super and all that, but still, dude, that's a lot of defense to be just thrown away like that. So I think that the Boo Boys will either get some other form of defensive mechanic, right? And or they will literally double down on what they do and just say, whatever, this spirit bomb is going to hit like a dump truck. Like, it's going to just hurt really hard. I don't know what they're gonna do. And as far as the GT duo, I'm really hoping that they are able to get their full power out and they get more damage reduction, maybe up to 70%, 80% by that time. I don't remember if they're guarding. I don't think they are. Maybe they get some guard thrown on there. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea how they're gonna handle it, but I do know they're gonna be hitting hard, because they were hitting hard back then. You know what I mean? They were hitting the 9999s. Not as often, but it was possible if you allowed them to stack, and or you gave them enough orbs at the time that they were doing, you know, their standbys and all that stuff. Like, it's gonna be interesting. Also, as far as like their standbys and stuff, dude, like it's gonna get wild out here. Once we start getting easy A's for like the 8th years and then the 9th years and all that, like, dude, I'm thinking so far ahead as far as like Dokkan's life cycle and all that. Well, I shouldn't even say life cycle. I'm talking about Dokkan's career and what it's going to be like in a year from now, because we're going to be literally less than a year, right? Less than a year from now, we're going to be easying the 8th year anniversary characters. I don't know, dude. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. I want to see what they do. I really do. Because remember also, if you think about the timeline of things, let's say in 10 years, we're getting the super easy A for these characters. Like, whoa. I don't know, dude. I honestly, at this point, I'm low-key just yapping, but at the same time, some of you understand what I'm talking about. Some of you get it. You know, and I appreciate that. But we'll see, boys. We'll see. We'll see where we're at. We'll see. Because with the way these 7th anniversary cards are looking, and every other easy A of the anniversary characters has been up until this point, I mean, you know, like, the more that they have in their base kit, the more that they'll be able to just do for free, and it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. That's gonna be fun, dude. That's gonna be fun. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, what do we got? What do we got left for Gohan? Honestly, you just throw this. Yep, punch him in the mouth. Sorry, kid. Not your time. It's not your day. And then we do this. Boom, boom. Yep. And now he's literally on his last legs. And we'll just do this. We're not even going to transform. There's no point. There's no point. There's no point in doing all that. We don't need to flex on him. We kind of already done that. And watch me eat my words. Please don't. Please don't. Don't make me do it. Thank you. And he should be done here, right? He should be done. And he's done. All right, boys. Well, that is the 8th anniversary in its entirety. Part 1 and part 2 in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and my little yap session that I had. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy the video, please don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff for me. and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.